Hi folks, welcome back to the channel and thank you very much for joining me once again. You are always most welcome. Now then, something really bang up to date, very contemporary, from Foreart. This is a manufacturer I've got no experience of at all, completely open mind about them. All I do know is they're made in China, really, that's about it. Now, this kit is not mine, it's been very kindly loaned to the channel temporarily by one of our members, Colin Boothroyd, and he's also got the amazing set of crew that goes with it. They do a separate crew set, and I don't mind that they do them separately because it gives you the option, doesn't it, then if you're not bothered about crew you don't have to buy them and then you're not paying extra something you don't need. But these look rather nice. It's going to be very interesting indeed. I presume that they are maybe 3D printed, but it doesn't say. We'll get into that in a minute anyway. We will get into that. Nanjing they're in, Foreart. Anyway, so just a quick word about this striking battlefield weapon then. So this is basically a general multiple launch rockets system, and of course it's Himars, which is the American system. But of course now basically given to or loaned to or sold to, I don't know the details, but to Ukraine, of course, in their struggle against the invasion. And I have to be honest and say, as I'm sure many of you will agree, that this is a formidable weapon. It's got to be the most devastating battlefield conventional non-nuclear weapon that you've ever seen. In terms of just the damned accuracy of these things is absolutely horrific. And forgive me if I get this the wrong way around because I'm straining on my memory here, but I think it's Himars that arrives and basically just devastates an area with like multiple sort of munitions. And I think it's ATACMS, which is a much bigger weapon, which is the one on the right here. Fearsome looking thing, almost like a Pershing missile, you know, a real big battlefield weapon. And that arrives and then detonates above the target and just shreds everything with, I think it's titanium steel ball. I don't want to go into the details because it's horrific, but it just shreds everything beneath that explosion for about 250 yards, I think. A very powerful bit of kit and lethal in the right hands. And the accuracy of these weapons is beyond any question at all, as we've seen multiple videos of them in action. Anyway, we won't dwell on that. We will get into the model. I don't know anything about Foreart. I'm hoping they give us some data about it, but we shall see. Don't hold your breath, but we'll see. But here we've got like a 3D rendering of the actual model. So it has like a built-in radar antenna into the system, and then the actual pivoting rocket launch system at the back. You've got the cab at the front, which is very heavily armoured indeed. And an engine which is very well protected underneath, deep under all the armour. So there we have it. There's the Himars GMLRS, and that's the ATACMS, the really huge one, much bigger rocket, obviously, which I think it fires. Is it just one? I can't remember if it's one or two. It's much less capacity. So without further ado, thank you very much to Colin for loaning this to us. It's something that I probably wouldn't normally do, but it is a very interesting subject, especially at the moment, obviously for unfortunate reasons. Let's see what we got then. Before I get into that, why don't we actually do the figures first? No, I'll tell you what, we'll do them at the end. Make more sense. Now this is 72nd scale, so it's actually, yeah, they're quite a big vehicle, so it's quite a lot to go out here, so there's going to be a fair bit of plastic. Many bags. A lot of bags. It looks like we might have some 3D printed parts as well. Yes, we have. Oh, it looks like we do have a crew member. Well, that's interesting. There does seem to be a crew member already in it, which I'm a bit puzzled by. Have they duplicated that? I'm not quite sure what that would be. Anyway. Sheesh, there's a lot of stuff. Let's have a look there. What have we got? So, instructions. Let's have a look. is there. Please give us some history. Tell us what this thing is, because again, especially for younger people, you need a bit of history to sort of explain why it's an interesting subject, what it's all about. I'm sorry to say we get absolutely nothing. Not a sausage. California National Guard, Wyoming National Guard. So this is purely in American colours. Slightly a bit of a missed opportunity, I think, there. Rather than putting Ukrainian markings in. So there's nothing. I'm afraid there's no history at all. Nothing to mention Ukraine. Nothing to mention the fact that it's in daily use in a current conflict. Well, we'll just crack on with it. It's the same old problem, isn't it? Another manufacturer in China that thinks they don't have to bother. I'm sorry, but it's not good enough. Anyway, let's have a look at the kit. So, building up your engine and your transmission. Then you get your cooling system, your radiator going in. Big exhaust. What is that engine, by the way? See, again, this is why I get so grumpy about this. Rant alert. This is why I get ranty about it, though. I don't know what to say to you. I haven't got any information here. I've got to start looking up Wikipedia and looking up special websites. That should not be necessary. That's their job. They only have to do it once, and then it's done. It's in the kit, and everybody gets to read it and understand, like with everybody else, like Tamiya and Airfix. You know, they can do it. Why can't these guys do it? Instead of every single modeler that's interested in buying the product having to go and do the research over and over, every single one of them doing the same research again and again and again. It's absolutely ridiculous. Think of it from a resources point of view. If you are concerned about, you know, environmental issues, okay, so it might take half a page more paper, but that's it, isn't it? Rather than people using electricity, looking up on the computers, studying all this stuff, and it could just be done once, instead of thousands of models across the globe having to do that all over again, duplicating the same work. Stupid. Rant over. But it annoys me. And people, we've got this generation that say you can look it up on the internet. Yes, but it's their job to do that. Yes, if it's so easy, why aren't they doing it then? If it's that easy, why should 1,000 of us go and look it up when one person can look it up and then we all have the data? Idiots. Just frustrating. Pointless. And again, I say I've not encountered Foreart before, but it's very much like some of the others. There's not a lot of, well, there's no written word here. It's just diagrams and numbers of the parts, which are fairly clear, to be fair. Putting in all your chassis work here going in. They've actually got the word PE. They've actually put that in. Yeah, putting all the underside of the vehicle in. I think I'm getting frustrated. I'm not going to take a long time over this, but I will look at the plastic in detail. But yeah, putting in your hatches and your main cab going in here, the seats and everything. But again, it didn't describe the engine. I don't know what the engine is. Is it a V8, V12? Maybe that'll become clear when I handle the plastic, but it's just not good enough, is it? Why can't they just give us a description? What is that? There's nothing on the box. Zero on the box, zero on the instructions about it. No description at all. You're just supposed to know. Quite ridiculous that a manufacturer thinks they can get away with it, to be honest. So I'm afraid it won't be a 10 out of 10 straight away. I'm going to give them a black mark for that. Anyway, it's unpredictable, I know, but there we go. They just need to change their ways, don't they? You've got hand grab rails on the side, and then you've got all the sort of the cooling system for I think it's for the electronics and the radar system at the back. Looks like it's all in a big armour plated box. And then you've got an antenna loop here for communications. I think they actually have separate radar sites, don't they, that do the tracking and all that stuff. It looks like we've got, I think there may be resin wheels. It looks like it's got Goodyear written in them, so that's good. I mean, I'm expecting the plastic's going to be quite impressive. Let's see. So then you've got your GMLRS, your Himars here, and then the alternative, which is ATACMS, which is massive, isn't it? Huge, great projectile. It's just huge with these fold-out fins. And then you've got the sort of the internal structure of how it sits within the rocket launching mechanism. I'm not sure I fully understand what this brace bar is that comes out, what that's all about, but anyway. But you got your actual rocket, sort of gantry. It's almost like an internal gantry, isn't it, in this armoured box to protect it from being hit by external strikes. And there you have it, with all your munitions in that box, your launch tubes, as it were. Launch tubes box, protective armoured box around it. Not like the grads that we see keep exploding in the Russian grads. They're just useless, aren't they? They've got no protection at all. It's just the tube. Get hit by any artillery and they just go up like a huge 4th of July firework display. Or 5th of November, as we say in the UK, because we like to celebrate bonfire night here. Guy Fawkes night, you know what I mean. And then, yeah, there's this... oh, we've actually got some writing in English here. It says, 3D printed part, rocket missile launch status. 3D printed part, so that's the basically the jet end of it, is it? Yeah, the back end. Interesting. No assembly required during rocket missile launch status. No assembly required. What's that mean? What's that mean? A couple of bits you don't want to cement because it pivots on them. And then finally it all comes together. Yeah, well, I've got to be honest, I think they're a little bit faint. It reminds me, who's the other manufacturer that does that? Is it Meng or is it ATACMS, where they're quite faint like that? It's almost like the same people are doing it, but I think it's a disappointing instruction book. You know, it doesn't tell you what the engine is, it doesn't tell you what the range of the missiles is, it doesn't tell you anything. Not very good, to be honest. It's not off to a good start, but I suspect it will get better. Let's have a look at these markings then. As I say, they are US only markings. Oh, there's quite a bit of photo etch. There's two that are the same, in fact. Oh, sorry, it's a 1+1 kit. Again, I didn't appreciate that. So it's a 1+1. There's actually both versions. There's both versions. Two of these vehicles. That's why it says 1+1. So it's actually two sets. Now it becomes a bit clearer. But again, not explained in English, is it, properly, you know? I don't know. Anyway, here is the photo etch, which is quite nice, it's got to be said. See lots of that. And then we've got our decals, which look pretty decent, to be honest. Mainly just stencil type data, isn't it? You know, do not stand behind this point sort of thing. Definitely don't want to stand behind that when it launches, I tell you. Because you're going to be... you're going to look more barbecued than a Kentucky Fried Chicken ever did. That's for sure. And you won't be coming back from the battlefield. Nasty. Very powerful weapon though. It's absolutely terrifying when you see them arrive. You often see, some of the video I've seen, you see like sometimes the actual tube, I don't know whether it's ATACMS or Himars, and part of the tube arrives first and you think it's missed, and then the explosion occurs about half a second later above the actual target, and it devastates the whole area. It's horrendous. Wicked weapons. Right, so I actually should have a duplication of everything in here, apart from the missiles obviously, which will be separate to the two versions. I think we can not open what we don't need to open. We've got duplication there and there. Confusing, we sorted out. Yep, that's a duplication. And I think that's a duplication too. Right, let's just get the second set out of the way. I think we've sorted it. We've sorted it, that's a duplication too. Right, so that's good for Colin, means we don't open all this back unnecessarily. So we've now got it. So I think I now see that when I moaned about these, not moaned, but when I observed that there were already some figures, but there seems to be only figures for one of them. And I think he's bought the second set as an option. Not sure why they didn't put two sets in anyway, really. If they're putting one set in, a bit strange. Let's not dwell on that. Let's have a look at what we got then. So, I'm going to have to cut the way in, I'm afraid. There's the cutter. Quick slurp of tea. I just think we're past the point where we tolerate this nonsense though from the Chinese. They do such a nice job on their manufacturing quality, and yet they can't be bothered to do the simplest thing of all, just a little bit of data. And it's a bit of an arrogance, I think, there. They just don't want to be bothered and don't think they should have to. Well, it puts me off the product, I've got to be honest, and you'll never get a 10 out of 10 or even close to that if you don't start to change your ways, I'm afraid. It will make the offerings from like Tamiya or fine molds, people like that in Japan, just wipe the floor with you, I'm afraid, because they're doing it. They're doing it well. Now then, here's the front of the cab. It's a massive armour-plated cabin. I think the idea is it's intended to try to withstand a non-direct hit from a similar battlefield projectile, really. A rocket strike, basically. We've got a couple... I'm right thinking that's not supposed to be there, aren't it? Yeah. These, don't be fooled, because these here, these are just ejector pin lugs. You'll cut that off, actually. Just be careful where you cut it off, though. But these are beautifully formed. Obviously it's slide moulded. Look at the detail here. Wow. I like that. They've done that exceptionally well, haven't they? Some of the fine detailing and the bolts and things. Can you see that? Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, I like that. Yeah, it's going to be like a border kit, isn't it? This, I can feel it coming. It's got to be all beautiful plastic and just crap instructions. Same old thing. Let's have a go then. So let's put that there. We've got some resin tyres and wheels. I might need my magnifier for these. Let's get the old magnifiers on because I think I'm going to need it. It does say Goodyear, yeah. They've engraved it. That's done really nicely. Let's zoom you in, see if you can see it. Let's see if you can spot it as well. Yeah. Nice, isn't it? Very, very nice tyres. Beautiful treads. An all-terrain tread and then Goodyear. Goodyear XVT, does that say? Looks like an XVT. Very, very nice though. Fantastic. There's also another part here which appears to be slide moulded. What's this? Oh, it's a couple of petrol cans. And I'm not sure what the other part is. It's like a, it looks like an exhaust, but see if you can make it out. We've got two petrol cans, all 3D printed. Yeah, and like a ring. There's your petrol can. Yes, that's good. Very good. Excellent. Right, well that's your resin bits. Not a big fan of resin, as you probably know. I don't like using super glue. I don't really like working with resin as an asthma sufferer. Probably not the best thing for me. He says, blowing it away. Hopefully not causing too much dust. I won't open these. It's just a couple of clear parts for the very tiny windscreen. It's a very small screen for obvious reasons, to try and have as much armour plate in front of you as possible. So I'll pop that in there. I don't think the clarity and what have you is very vital on a kit like this when it's so small. Now then, ATACMS, which strikes fear into the heart of the average Russian on the battlefield at the moment, and I'm not surprised. Look, you see what it can do. It's very, very devastating weapon. Proper scary stuff, this. And it arrives with no warning and total accuracy and just obliterates everything. You know, anything that's out there, even a squirrel, is going to get minced, quite frankly. Look at it, it's very beautifully moulded, isn't it? Look how sharp it looks. And then you've got the, you've also got the tubing for the launching pipe launch ramp, I should say, system. You've got the back of the fins here, the ATACMS fins, where they fold, and those are the fins themselves here. This is the back where the jet pipe is. And there appears to be two different jet pipes, interestingly. It's just when one's folded, one's for the folded option, one's for when it's extended. Wow. Deadly stuff, isn't it? Deadly. Very interesting. That is that one. And then we have got... Sorry, I need to come back. Need to come back. And then we got this. I mean, it's interesting to see something that's so contemporary that we see, you know, in the news being used. More than the news, isn't it? It's like a daily grind. This horrible war in Ukraine just needs to stop now, and I think that the message is finally getting home to the Russian people that this is not sustainable for them, frankly. Sorry, I'm going to take this off now. Yeah, this is not sustainable. I think the war has come home to the Russians, to the average Russian member of the public, in a way that it didn't before. They thought it was far away and wasn't going to affect them. Well, that's not what happens, of course. Anyway, we won't get into the politics of it. But look at the beautiful moulding here. Absolutely incredible. I mean, I won't describe them because there are no descriptions in the instructions to tell you what anything is. And again, on something like this, I'd really wanted to see a highly descriptive set of instructions. There's a steering wheel there, that much I do recognise. Well, as for the rest, quite a lot of it is a mystery to me, but at least 50% of that, it could be anything. We've got some hydraulic arms, it looks like here, that I think are the actuator arms that raise the missile ramp. And it's beautifully detailed, isn't it? Very crisp moulding. And then we have a slightly different bit of cabin, it looks to me. There we go. Slightly different cabin. And this time it's got the doors. You can see the doors have got these little tiny windows, you know, to try and keep them as small as possible. Have as much armour plating as possible. And then there's the back of the cab here as well. It's nice though. I quite like it. I think it's an interesting subject, and it's again, it's a bit like the other kit that Colin sent us for review, which was the Border Models Tiger. Colin seems to like these military vehicles in 1/72nd. He must be younger than me because my eyes are starting to struggle with stuff like this, to be honest. I'm getting a bit old for it, I think. As you saw, the fact that I got the Optivisors out just a second ago, just to be able to see it on the review, and mine actually start putting parts together. It's very part heavy, this, I've got to say. It does remind me a bit of a mini art kit. It really does. Now this has got the MLRS, Himars MLRS. This has got where you've got 6 rockets, multiple rocket launch system, and there are 6 of these fire out of the 6 tubes, and they are a half and half design, so you have to glue them together, which is maybe a bit unfortunate. Hope they go together nicely because we don't want any seams, do we, really? Then we get the engine, which looks like, I think it's a V12, or it's a 12 cylinder anyway. Is it 12 or is it 6 on the diesel? It could be a straight 6 diesel, I think. You think they've explained all that though? Really stupid. We need to know about the vehicle, you know. How heavy is it, for example? No idea. Go on Wikipedia, spend a day doing research because somebody else couldn't be bothered to in China. I don't understand it. If they can't be bothered to research that, how can you have any faith in the research they've done into the details of the vehicle? It's the old scan and run technique, isn't it? LiDAR scanner. I'm just going to LiDAR scan this vehicle, and then I'm going to scarp. That's all I'm going to do, basically. That's their policy. But very, very nice moulding. I don't want to knock that at all. Look here, the parts of the the axles and the differentials and things. That's really, really nice, isn't it? You got your exhaust system there. Yes, I like it. That's very, very nice indeed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the plastic. It's absolutely pin sharp and crisp. Superb moulding, no question about it. I just wish to tell you a bit more about what it was. It's so stupid, you know, because especially for someone doing a review, you know, you want to say to people, did you know it was a turbocharged straight six diesel, blah blah blah. We're none the wiser, you know. I'm not going to spend hours and hours on Wikipedia researching a model subject, because the manufacturer who's actually made that product can't even be bothered to do that themselves. That should be the first thing that they do, is understand what they are building. What is the point otherwise, really? I'm almost getting to the point that I could see. Careful. I've said I'm not doing any more airfix, and we all know why. I've already discussed that. I'm getting to the point where I might get a bit frustrated with the Chinese manufacturers and stop doing them as well, because the trouble is I'll start running out. But it's not on. It's not good enough, really. Anyway, let's have a look at this lovely plastic, because this they are scoring well on. I can't see any marks being lost for the plastic at all. Look at this. So here's the launch ramping system, the actual launch tube system, the outer. Is it the outer? Yeah, it's the sort of side sponson stroke flanks, isn't it? You see they've been slide moulded. Isn't that nice? Yeah, that's really nicely done, this. There's the launch tubes themselves. And all the rest of it is just like armour plated to protect them, isn't it? Really, the launch tubes is quite a simple affair, really. It's all protection and advanced composite armour to stop it from being hit. And again, here's your doors, different, looks like is that a different design of door? I'm not quite sure. And then a little bit of the framework there for the chassis, I think. No, it's for the rocket launcher, isn't it? For the casing, very, very nice. Super. And then and here we have this is the last one, in fact. So this is a lot of the sort of basic chassis work with your exhaust, and then you've got your drive shafts with your universal joints differential there, axle, and then you've got the front of where the headlights are, front of where the bumper is, internal dashboard. That's the bottom, so the radiator is at the bottom. This is where you can have the Himars. It's got that one missing because you can have it shown with the cap taken off, so it's about to launch, which is really cool. So that's at the back of the rocket launcher. One's for the front, one's for the back. So that's the back. Sorry, and that's the front. Oh, it's beautiful. Superb moulding. It's like, you know, it's like Meng or ATACMS, or it's definitely got a sort of ATACMS stroke Qatari feel to the way they've moulded this stuff. And it's beautifully done. It's beautifully done. There's no question the plastic is superb, you know. It's very part heavy. I mean, certainly not a 70 scale. It's certainly not a children's or beginner's kit, that's for sure. And I have to be honest, I find those instructions deeply irritating. You know, for something like this to have no data with it is just ridiculous. It's a complete missed opportunity to sell the product, you know. If they'd have put some Ukraine markings in there, that would have been sensible too. Let's have a look at these figures though. So these are the ones that come, I won't mix them up, these are the ones that actually come in the kit first of all. So they're 3D printed. I'm not sure, it's always difficult when they're in these frames to actually photograph them. So please bear with me, it might not be that easy to see them. Here we are. Yes, they've done it nicely. I think they're quite well figured. This is the guy that's, I think, the commander that's standing up, the guy that's going to set the missiles off. Yeah, tricky, isn't it? A bit easier on this one. You can see this one a lot easier. Let's just focus for us. There we go. This is the driver. Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? Driver. Those are very good, actually, in fairness. They look very, very detailed. I mean, they look so detailed, my glasses, I'm literally struggling without the old optivisors, which I'm going to just one more time, I'm going to put them on for these figures. Yeah, it's really nice, actually. Even down to things like the individual fingers are very accurate, you know, and they're tiny. Individual fingers at 72nd scale is pretty impressive. So that's good, they've done that well. Full marks for the figures. It's like 10 out of 10 for the plastic, sort of 6 out of 10, 5 out of 10 for the instructions really, which is ultimately going to cost them, I'm afraid. I was quite excited to open this. I thought it was going to be really epic, and it is in some respects, don't get me wrong. But they just cut corners, and they just think they can keep on doing it, and I'm here to tell them that they can't. Now then, finally, this is the extra gifts pack, which is 9003 is the set number. And, oh, we've got 4 figures. So you actually get, it's the same 2 figures that we've just seen, plus 1 other. So you actually get, confusing, isn't it? Does it say 4 figures? 2. 2 lots of 3, it should say. 2 sets, it's just not terribly clear the way they've laid it out. Again, lack of clarity. That's the figure we've seen already. We've seen the drive already, but the other figure that's different is this one. Ah, so what it is, okay, this is the commander, the gunner, who's actually using a remote control. This is when they stand well back, perhaps 50 or 100 metres away, and he's got a remote control in his hand, if you look carefully. You see that? Remote control. He's going to set it off by remote and launch the missiles. That's really impressive, actually. Getting a closer look now with my optimisers on. Yeah, it's got a remote control pad in front of him, and we're about to launch. Those are really good, and that is duplicated twice. There's 2 lots of this. So you end up actually, Colin's bought this set, and he ends up, it's a bit silly what they've done here, Foreart, to be honest, because they've got a set of 6 figures, which you always needed, yet they only give you 2 figures in there. Makes no sense, does it, really? That's a bit weird, and it's a bit like I was with the, was it the Ryefield? Yeah, the Ryefield model Puma, where I bought the extra set and then the wheels, and then I kind of realised I didn't necessarily need them. But with this you kind of do, because they've only given 2 when there should be 3, a crew of 3. So you needed that really included in the kit, I think. All of this extra that Colin's had to buy is a bit frustrating for him. I don't understand what they're playing at there, really. Let's do it that way. So they're very beautiful, but you've got to pay extra to get those, so that's bear that in mind, really. So where am I overall with this in terms of a score then? It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because the plastic is wonderful. It's a bit fiddly, and the instructions fall well short. You know, to have nothing, even on the box, telling you about what it is, it's just ridiculous. It could be anything. If you're not, you know, up to speed with what's going on in Ukraine, you know, and you're out with your, I don't know, you've got the son, your daughter, but somebody, you're out there, keep that separate. If you're out there in the model shop one day, if you actually have a model shop anymore, if you don't know much about Ukraine, you'll just walk past this and not realise its significance at all. It's just, it's an opportunity lost, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. I'm going to give it 9 out of 10 though, because the plastic is so exceptionally good, and so are those 3D printed parts. It's very, very nice. And the things that are wrong with it are fixed in an afternoon. Somebody did a little bit of just writing a paragraph of history, and doing a little bit of bit more detail, giving you what the specs are, the weight, how fast can it drive, how much does it weigh, what's the range of the missile. We don't know any of that. It's ridiculous. You've got to go hunting for all this different data. And like I say, oh, we can just do it on Wikipedia. Well, don't trust Wikipedia is always right for starters, because I've actually found it wrong on a couple of things to do with Formula 1. Small errors, but definitely errors. Don't go thinking Wikipedia is God. It's not there to replace your brain. And these guys are just doing that. Oh, you can go to Wikipedia. No, you go to Wikipedia, Foreart. Don't be so bloody lazy. You know, a little bit of Chinese translation into English by somebody who knows what they're doing. Hopefully not Chinglish. And it's sorted, isn't it? It can be done. You know, they can add it even as just like for the UK market, but they shouldn't do that. They should do it for every market. They should do it all languages, and just have an info sheet with the data on it about the weapon, what it does, what its history is. Doesn't need to be huge, just a couple of paragraphs and that's sorted. And without that, it just frustrates me that here's something that should be absolutely... If Tamiya had done that, you'd be thinking, wow, what a package. But as a package, it falls down. As an actual kit, it's brilliant, but as a package, it's not going to be a learning experience, is it? You're not going to find any history, or it's not going to enrich your knowledge in any way, shape or form. Disappoints me. 9 out of 10 I think is generous, because it's a little bit frustrating, but the plastic's lovely. 10 out of 10 to Colin though. Thank you very much for loaning it to us. I'm afraid Foreart are going to go on that list of manufacturers now. That I've got this Chinese list now in my head, and I've got misgivings on. You know, we need to talk about Chinese kits I talked about before, and that's going to be added to that list, isn't it? I'm afraid. But it's just a bit silly what they're doing. They could easily, you know, they could fix that in a day, quite literally, and add an info sheet into those. I don't know. As I said, thousands of modellers all over the world going and doing the same research over and over is a complete waste of everybody's time. It doesn't need to be that way. Just need one person to do it in the first place. Anyway, hope you thought it was interesting. Good review. Nice kit. I mean, it is a nice kit. You build up into something really cool, and it doesn't take up too much room either. You know, two of those. You can make a little scene, couldn't you? Diorama. Yeah. So I'm not going to say don't buy it. I think it's a very nice bit of plastic, that, and you just need to go do some research because they can't be bothered. Anyway, thanks to Colin. Thanks to you. Please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and we have more interesting kits. Another one or two from Colin, in fact, to see. Things I probably wouldn't normally review, but he sent me a collection actually. I probably won't review every one of them, but one or two of them are sort of things I thought, well, I would have chosen that. Actually, that's quite interesting. One of them is a ship, and a very important one. So anyway, I'll keep you hanging on, whet your appetite for that, and come back to you in the near future. In the meantime, till next time, thanks very much. Cheers for watching. Take care of yourself. Stay well, stay safe. Thanks a lot. And bye for now.